think we might need to form a support group for all of the Vanderpump Rules therapists, possibly a GoFundMe.
Oh,
These
yes.
folks are going through it.
I'm not really sure what I've done to you, but I'll take a Pinot Grigio.
Yes.
Especially the one today where these people hated her, hated each other, hated the day they were born, and we need to get them together and be like, you're going to be okay. Everything's okay.
This is the person's confessional I want. I've heard Kristen and James' side of the story enough. I want to know Lindsay's side of the story is who I want. I want to hear Elizabeth. I want to hear Lindsay. I want to hear whoever Shorty went to. Let's get them out there. That's the reunion I want to see. Absolutely.
I want to see that whole session because it got real ugly in there. It got real bad.
I think we saw what we needed. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But hello, everyone. This is But I'll Take a Pinot Grigio podcast. We're Vintage Vanderpump Rules, Season 4, Episode 4, Happily Never After.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot. We covered a lot of ground, but to remind, Jax wants Brittany in her lingerie to work at Sir or Pump, whichever. Scheana is real sus about Brittany being a thing. LVP sees her and was like, it's not a no, it's a maybe later. James and Jenna obviously was boning.
Mm-hmm.
He lies about it. And then the Shay business where he hasn't been home, and it's sort of like it's revealed that he is doing more than just being gone. He's mixing alcohol and pills. That being said, I would like to issue a quick little trigger warning for the discussion of addiction. There's a few scenes in here that get pretty heavy. So if you're having feelings about the disease of addiction or like the family involvement or intervention, all that kind of stuff, this might be a hard one. I will try to put in the show notes the timestamps of it. So Jeff helped me remember to do that. So that way when we get there, if you want to just like fast forward, you can. But I mean, there's some real dumb, funny, hilarious shit that happens, but there's also some really, really heavy shit that like really goes down. Speaking of the dumb shit that happens, Katie has introduced her new grift. This is my prediction.
I absolutely love this. Yeah, we were going to see more grifts. I wanted more of the side hustle stuff also. I was very, very excited to see this. Yeah.
So we got Kristen's t-shirt line called James May, I think. Kristen's...
Who's Kristen? Does she work at Sir? I don't know her.
We've said her name more times than we've said the name of the show, so I think it bears repeating that she has a t-shirt line. And then Katie's blog, Pucker and Pouch, which I think is a great name. I think that's pretty cute. And it's a blog that's like beauty, hair, tutorials, do-it-yourself stuff. And she's wearing a very stupid headband during this whole scene.
I was like, I even wrote, I was like, what festival is she going to? And then immediately she's like, yeah, you can wear these for festivals, but I think you can wear them at any time. I was like, no festival. There you go. Answered my first question right there.
Well, it feels a little like cultural appropriation, especially when she like shows the picture of that head thing. But, it's 2015. They didn't care about that yet. And Scheana wants everyone to know she's going through it. So like, I need you to take pictures of me looking away. And because I'm just not my chipperest self, please ask me about what's going on. I don't want to talk about it, but I need you to ask me about it. Please, please, please. She characterizes it being several days since she's seen Shay.
Yeah. Luckily, Schwartz is there to offer his help in the modeling also, though.
Because what are his credentials for modeling? Did you catch that?
He went to the Tom Sandoval School of Modeling, and he graduated.
Which you and I did as well. If you would like to see Jeff and I doing our very best curriculum from the Tom Sandoval School of Modeling, head over to the YouTube. And
I'll head over there right now.
Because
what'd you say?
Jeff does there it is. He's perfected the I'm walking away, but what did you say?
Mm-hmm.
So go check that out. This is where we start to kind of see where Scheana's head is about Shay's particular predicament and his particular situation, where she says that he, quote, had a pill problem last year, but they got it under control. And I'm like, we start to see, it's like, okay, well, Scheana doesn't understand how addiction works. She's not like fully educated in this particular situation. Schwartz also continues to be an idiot, talks about Shay doesn't fit the stereotype of what an addict looks like.
Yeah, I mean, there's no face of what addiction looks like. It comes in every size, shape, and color possible, every type of person, every walk of life. So there is
Yeah.
no look of addiction. I mean, I get it. Shay looks happy, but we all know that doesn't mean anything.
Schwartz talks about how shocking it is for Shay to be having these troubles. And I was like, it's not really, though. It's kind of just, par for the course.
Yeah, it might be a little because the youth, because maybe this kind of thing hasn't been around a
Yeah.
lot, like around 30. I mean, I have to say I've seen it before age 30, but
Yeah.
maybe a lot of people haven't really been around it that much by then.
Well, and I will say this too, and not to get like too heavy into it, but the kinds of substances that the generation behind us, like Noel's generation, that they have to grapple with and they have to fight through is a lot different than what we dealt with. And like we had hard drugs, we had street drugs, but the way that it's kind of like sweeping through this generation is very different. And so these folks are not all that younger than us at this time. And so they just didn't really have any experience with like fentanyl or like the opioid situation that we were dealing with now. And so like Nolan right now, like for every one person that like they know two people that have either perished from addiction or are like in active disease. So it's a very different time. And I will say that I'll give credit to that because Scheana is just so optimistic and she's like, you know what, I really got to stop crying. And Katie's like, yeah, stop crying so we can take these pics, girl. And the pics turned out really good though. So pain and suffering, really, really photogenic.
Yeah, she had the whole team rolling in. Like it looked more, as far as other people's side hustles, like this looked awesome. Like I loved it. The pictures looked good. Way to go,
It
Katie.
did look good. So back to Sir, Wolverine and Bad Sandy are starting a thing. And look, I know that he is awful, but I think it's so endearing when somebody calls you kiddo. I love it. It's so cute because he walks up, he's like, hey, kiddo. And for those uninitiated, we're talking about Jax and Lala. Go to Instagram. I did a whole bit because they were dressed as Wolverine and Bad Sandy last time. But it takes such a weird left. This whole conversation just turned so strange. And you can see Lala trying to stay in the moment as Jax flirts, ? With her.
That's Jax flirting for sure. Yeah, anything, because she brings up the fact that he has a girlfriend at the time, and I love, I got Brittany, but I'm still out here. Like he has her. We've talked before about him starting to drop in stuff about doing stuff for people and kind of taking a bit of ownership for him. Like I think these little phrases, will come into play maybe, but it takes a harder one when he's talking about where she's from for sure.
Well, he's so horny from her. I don't think his mind is even working at the lowest capacity because he's like, yeah, like you're from Utah, right? Like you're Mormon. And she's like, well, I'm not Mormon. He's like, well, let me ask you this. And then proceeds to launch into a questioning about anal sex. Sir, you were at work. It is broad daylight outside, and you were talking to a woman that you have met all of 3 times. Can we not talk about anal sex? But she matches it, though. She was like, because you see her, she takes a beat. She's like, yeah. I mean, it's the anal and the killer blowjobs. And Jax just like head explodes. His boner starts raging. He's like, yes, my kind of girl.
No, it's a great public conversation. You want that at the most front-facing place of your business. Absolutely. Especially when the owner can walk in or anyone at any minute. I mean, as if that wasn't bad enough, really his reaction to that is worse. He's like, do you know what kind of stuff I get into?
I was going to ask you that.
Way. This is not like call the police. This is Sundi's call the police of the episode right here. Call everyone, every type of authority, please.
Protect this woman, because I have a feeling that the editing cut off some of that conversation. What is the rest of that conversation?
I have a feeling that she said, I don't know, why don't you tell me what you get into? And he went, I can't, I would, And he stammered like that for about 35 minutes until Lisa walked in and, like slapped
Oh,
him on the
man.
back and got her Jax robot back going again.
Yeah.
Because I bet his mind broke. That's what I'm guessing.
I think I would prefer that than saying, like making a list of things that he's actually into. We already heard last week about his foot situation.
No, he
So,
didn't. He didn't put any sentences together to this girl
thank
after he
God.
says that. He did not. I don't think there's any way.
Thank God then, because, really weird. So, of course, Lisa does catch them, and she's like, yes, it need to ignore 95% of what he says. And so
Yeah.
she goes over to further kind of like scold him a little bit. And she was like, make sure you don't give her your little Jax. Why would you like poo in your own backyard? Which I don't know if that's the saying either.
It's close.
But
We'll give her that one.
Yeah. And then she calls Brittany Miss Lingerie. She's like, well, aren't you in love with Miss Lingerie? And this is where we realize that she's coming back and she really needs a job. So they have not said it outright that Brittany is moving here, but it's obviously stands to reason that if she needs a job here, she is moving here. And even Lisa
I think that was
oh my God.
Yeah, I think that was them saying it. She's coming back. She needs a job. She's moving.
Yeah.
Lisa's a little wary of his commitment, 3 noses in just a year. Yeah.
But surely this woman has watched the show. Brittany has seen the show. This is season 4. The show has been on for 3 seasons. She has enough wherewithal to have watched it, right?
I would hope so. I mean, you said like maybe her and Lala haven't seen the show. I'm like, these people have absolutely had to have seen the show by this point. Yeah. I mean, they've also probably been in talks with the producers for 2 years. We just don't know about it.
I mean, possibly, but or maybe she's the kind she's like, oh, I can change him. He'll be good for me. I'll make him a good man. Like maybe she's one of them.
Yeah, I can change him is a great way to go.
Yeah, that always works out. Yeah. So then we go to Toca Madera, which is this triple date. No, just kidding. This is the boys' night, which I guess it could be also a triple date, where they invite James and Jax is, a little bit wary. They are still not necessarily clocking how menacing this man is just yet, because Jax is like, oh, he's like me. He's just like fucking around. He's very free. He's just drinking a lot. He's fun to have around because he's always going to do something outrageous. But as the night wears on, it gets intolerable.
Yeah, they start off just like asking him questions about Kristen right away, and it's shot time for sure, and doesn't take long. He gets going on his own right away, on his merry little way.
Yeah, so they've broken up 8 times. We did that little bit of that little bit of information, and then somebody says the same sentiment that I had is that the therapist that they're going to see tomorrow, that therapist is going to need a therapist, and agreed, because these 2 people hate each other. Even now, like not even in the confessional time, but even in the real time in which they are still together, they hate each other. Like they do not like each other at all. And
see Jeff's comments the past few shows. Yes.
And then it also this is like in the future, but Tom brings up that him and Schwartz are going to go to the LVP to like pitch something about sangria. And you could just sort of see Peter be like, bro, stay in your own lane. Because if anybody needs to be pitching anything to LVP, it needs to be Peter, because this man is a workhorse.
This man is a film director, Sundi.
That's right.
That is not.
Right.
He has his side hustle. We already know his side hustle. This is the Toms here. I'm excited for them. This is new career possibilities.
But I love how they are just making a whole ass meal of that clip of Tom at his modeling job jumping.
Yeah.
Like every time that Tom Schwartz says something about modeling, they use that dumb fucking clip of him jumping.
Wouldn't you? I mean, I know how much Schwartz likes to get other people's shirts made. Like if I was his buddy, everyone else except Schwartz would have a shirt with the umbrella shoot on it. Absolutely.
For sure. And so, and this is where it takes a turn for like just so disgusting. Like I said, I just sort of thought James was just kind of like a dopey twerp. I didn't really understand how disgusting and menacing he was. I got a glimpse of it last week when he was like, yeah, I totally boned that girl. But here, when Jax asks about Lala, and James already deep in the cup, talks
Yeah.
about, yeah, Lala's a little slut. She likes to act like she's not, and she'll never admit she's a slut, but she's a huge slut.
Hammered.
That is bad. That's a really, really bad showing. And it goes sort of to show, too, that maybe James doesn't necessarily understand how he's going to be received, right? Like, he's just like so many of the other reality TV series, and maybe not so much on these, maybe Katie a little bit, but are kind of like censoring themselves a little bit, or at least kind of like explaining away their actions in their confessionals, right? Like, they at least seem reasonable in their confessionals. James doesn't have that particular experience yet. And so he is just
No.
saying the most disgusting things and then doubling down on them in the confessional. And it is just playing really, really gross.
I don't think he would give a shit. I don't think sensible James here is a thing. So, I mean, that isn't, I don't think it's like we caught him on a bad night or something. I think it's
Right.
just a rough
Well,
hang.
I think that's really kind of what's so insidious about it, because we are actually seeing like what a fucking menace this man is. And Sandoval talks about how he acts when he's drunk, and everybody has known this person.
Yes.
We used to hang out with one of our friends who was a little bit younger, and she would get drunk, and like her voice would be louder and louder and louder. And whenever James like reached over to Tom, he was like, Tom, listen to this. Our friend would do this. Like, if anybody else in the circle was talking, she would be like, y'all, listen to this. And nobody could have any other conversations. And that is the most, he's so obnoxious. It's so obnoxious.
Yeah, no,
Like that.
it's totally, you're at a show, you're vibing along and you're in your own thing. And he's the guy that just grabs you and gets right in your face. Like, isn't this what we're doing? And they're like, not right now. We're good. We're good.
No, please back away. They continue the rest of the night. And then we immediately go to Kristen's apartment, which he is on the couch asleep. And when I saw him asleep on the couch and I saw Kristen in the kitchen saying, James, it's time to get up, I knew how it was going to go. I was like, I know how this is going to go. I have had this morning. I have been on each side of this scenario.
Yep.
I know that he is going to be the worst possible person ever. And we only see her say, James, get up one time, but I bet she had to say it 30 times.
Well, that, and anytime she's closing the fridge, she's slamming it. She's getting those pans out of the oven out of the cabinet extra hard, bowls are falling all over the place. Like, yeah, there's extra stuff. She's doing some more knife work that day. I mean, I'm sure, because not only, I'm sure, does she wake him up on purpose, she like starts in on questions, like, which no one wants to hear when they're woken up and hungover. Like, how do you feel? Why did you drink like that? Like, give me a second.
That's right. He's been awake for 38 seconds, Kristen. Could you just back the fuck off for a minute? And can you imagine what this man smells like? Like, he is probably sweating vodka, smells like whodunit, yesterday's cigarette ashtray. Like, I bet he rolled off that bed and got straight into the car and went straight to therapy, because when they get there, he mad. He big mad.
He big man for sure. Yeah. Well, some people get accused of not really showing their true selves in therapy. And that's a thing that'll really preclude you from being able to get the therapy you deserve. Well, first step, that's taken care of. These people are themselves right away.
Why would he even agree to do this? I'm not even talking about this morning. I'm talking about like beforehand when they even made the appointment. Why even waste the money? Like, don't go. If you're going to yell at her and tell her what a fucking bitch she is, and you're going to listen to her say with your sorry dick, just stay at home and yell at each other. Like, don't waste this poor woman's time.
I've said this before, but I think James may not have great judgment. I'm just gonna put that out there again. I think there's a possibility, but I have no idea.
Kristen tries to frame it that her and Jenna were good friends, and we do see that one flashback where they were like carving dicks.
Get out!
With the
don't
cucumber.
Do the cucumber party. Nope, we're out. Never bring up the cucumber party.
But that's where we get and then you had to fuck Jenna with your sorry dick. I love that so much. That made me laugh. I laughed out loud about that. But then the therapist, straight face, she says, so it looks like there's some unhealthy things happening here. Yeah, dummy. This real unhealthy. Did the fuck you bitch when he walked in the door, not the first giveaway? Like, what?
The first thing
And
he says is, "Get over it. I got fucking drunk." That's
yeah,
the first thing he said in therapy is, "Get over it." So that's where we are.
yeah.
That's what's going on here.
And she is very professional. She's like, well, how can we stop the retaliating? Well, she sucks. Like, she's fucking sucks. And, well, that's not really respectful. She's not respectful. Fuck that bitch. And this whole time, he's just so petulant. And it shakes out too. And I think that you have said this too, this dynamic to where it kind of feels like she is parenting him or like mothering him. And
Yeah.
even in this thing, it seems like there was like a mom who was in therapy with her angry teenager. And he's like,
Yeah.
God, mom, this sucks. It's so stupid. And the whole time the therapist is treating it like it's a normal fucking session. Like she's giving it her all.
Yeah, he's like, "You talk out of your ass, you're delusional." She's like, "See, that's more name calling." And then a second later, he's like, "You're a fucking bitch." Like, it's like, well, all right. And then the two of them, like, the therapist is going in even on Kristen's behalf, and the two of them are yelling at each other or at the therapist. They really, I don't know if like rage rooms were a thing back then where you could go in and throw stuff and break it. That's what these
That's what
two
they
need.
need.
They do not like go in, break some equipment, scream at each other. They probably just make out right there anyway.
Yeah,
And
that
this
would make
whole
him
thing,
so
and
horny, Jeff. What are you
yeah,
talking about?
that's what I mean. That's better than watching this at least.
They probably went home and fucked after this therapy session because he screams at her, "You're so fucking delusional." And the therapist says, well, that same call makes sense. Well, I feel like you're fucking delusional.
Yeah.
Just like, damn. Like that whole thing, it felt like a skit. It felt like they were trying to be satirical about what therapy ought to be. But I will say, Kristen looks so pretty. I don't know if it was the light in the therapist's office, but she just looked so pretty. Her skin looked so good. She just was like really, really pretty in there. But James didn't give a shit. He was wearing yesterday's tank top.
Mm-hmm.
I could smell the booze from the screen from 12 years ago. Like he was whodunit, looking like whodunit.
Yeah, Lindsay was probably like, "You smell like this guy I went on one weird date with. Were you out with a Jax Taylor last night?" Yeah.
So, speaking of going on a date, though, we get a triple date, which noticeably Jax is not there. They're at like Sadie's or some really cute little
Sadie, yeah.
date spot. Yeah. And there's like a U-shaped booth, and it's Schwarty, it's Pampered at the Disco, and it's Peter and Sarah with an H, which our
That's right.
keen eye said that we think it's from from last season where they made him call her. But he says they've been dating since Scheana's birthday.
Yeah, he's excited about a new girl. They're getting serious. And then they have news.
They have an announcement too, and everybody's like,
But do they have
"What?"
news?
And the
I mean, is this news?
I don't. No, they do not have news. The news is 4 years old, and it has to do with another person that we've never met and never will met. You have a child, a 4-year-old child. That's
That
not
is correct.
news. That's not an announcement. That's not an announcement. That is just a fact.
That's how absurd like having a child is to some of these people. Like when it comes up, you've got to be like, ring a ding ding. Hold on. Real adult here doing some stuff. Look away.
What?
Like this
Schwartz has never
person's
met a
bought
real adult before.
actual diapers that weren't for a party when you have 40 ounces tied to your hands. Biggest takeaway for me
But
though early on is the drink Katie orders. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. I even looked it up. What goes in a bramble? I'd never heard of it
Yes.
before. Do you know what goes in a bramble?
Yeah, it's like a blackberry bourbon drink.
Yes. Well, the recipe that I looked up that it was gin, but I guess it was like
Oh.
gin, simple syrup, because everything that these goddamn people drink has simple syrup in it. Literally every single thing.
Or triple
And
syrup if Jax Taylor makes it for you.
that's right, triple syrup, and then a blackberry liqueur and club soda if you're feeling bubbly.
I was living in Kentucky at the time, so maybe that's why I figured it had bourbon. Or that was
Yeah.
just me.
Or maybe it's just a version of it, right? Yeah, maybe you just drank yours with bourbon in it, sir. So then the talk turns to marriage. And Sandoval is so keen to marry this woman. And she says, "Oh, babe, That's so sweet. And then her face immediately just screws into like, ooh, ooh, ooh. She doesn't want it. She knew since she was 5 years old. It's just not for her. No, thank you.
She's sticking to that, just like Schwartz is sticking to not liking ultimatums and pressure. Right here, right in front of everybody.
Yes, like a turd in the pool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This man is like, yeah, I love deadlines. I love pressure. I love ultimatums. You already bought a ring. Why do you have to be shitty like this? Like, we know, like, the dramatic irony is none. We know that you are going to do it. So you obviously do love a deadline and you do love an ultimatum because you bit. So, like, why embarrass this woman? Because he hates her.
And she hates him for the most part also, but seems pretty dedicated to it. Yeah.
Yeah, she can't stand him 90% of the time. Y'all, dump this motherfucker.
Is this one like the Shay comes up?
Yeah. And it's just sort of a rehash too, but I
Yeah.
just don't care for them framing it like it's Scheana's fault because she's so
Yeah.
bossy and domineering that there's just no space for him to feel his feelings. And I just found that to be really, really unfair. They've been together for 8 years. So, like, Alia said that it was like they were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
She didn't wake up 2 years ago being bossy and domineering. He has been with this woman this whole time, and it's just really unfair that they are kind of, like, off-putting the responsibility to this whole situation onto her, and it was not nice. It's not nice.
I made note of that also again. Like, I don't like that they were calling her out for being domineering, like some of the faults with her, but they have been together for years and years, right? But about 5 years ago, she had a giant affair with some other guy who's married, right?
Oh, shit.
And that goes on for not like once or twice, like months, correct? I mean, that's what goes on.
Jeff.
That relationship there sparks an entire series to be born out of another series. So this thing goes from she's a waitress at Villa Blanca to this whole mess. So, like, is Scheana the same as she was 4 years ago? As far as, like, I bet when she's talking about how excited she is about the wedding, she seems pretty similar to the girl from Pasadena. I bet when she's going on about her rise to stardom and wanting to be a pop star and be on this TV show and how she's got to get ready and doing a magazine shoot, I don't know if that is the same Scheana. Now, I'm not saying, but it's just something that crossed my mind. Like, I don't know if Shay is with the same Scheana from 5 years ago, and he may be the exact same.
And that is a really good point. And even to, like, piggyback off of that, because I typically do not like for someone to say, oh, a man is emasculated or you emasculated him. But I did not even put together that her and Eddie Cibrian
That's
probably
smack
were
dab in the
together.
middle.
Yes, and that her whole entire fame, this whole entire show is based on an infidelity. So that, I think, there is fairly emasculating, and especially the fact, because Sandoval characterizes as man problems, talking about, like, the money and stuff. And so, like, his entire life is being funded by an affair that his wife had. Like, I didn't even think of that. That is really smart. That's a really good read.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
I got to rethink.
I didn't like the domineering stuff from Sandoval last week or this week, but whoa, pump the brakes on the money. You're airing out somebody else's financial woes in front of everybody. You can call me a bunch of names and you can, but, like, if you start airing some shit out about, like, my friends, family, or my money, no, you don't tell me about how, like, I'm having trouble paying bills. We're done. I mean, that's it, man. I got nothing for you on that. Like, I'm almost, I mean, I don't like that he said that about Scheana, as I said, and they're like, well, he probably
No,
needs
you're
our
right.
help. Like,
yeah. No, I think that your take is this. You're seeing it in a much more critical way. Like, I is just immediately rushing to Sheena's defense in that way, probably because of
that
my
too.
own experience. But yeah, no, too, because they are absolutely counting his money. And Scheana does it a little bit later, which we'll get to, but they are outing this man in a lot of ways. I'm feeling a little different now about it, too, because
I didn't mean to.
I just forgot that their entire livelihood is based on that affair she had with Eddie Cibrian. That
Right.
just
Well, why not
slipped,
bring that up rather than, like, also he could be bringing in some more bucks. Like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're my boy? I don't think so.
Back to Sir. we're gonna come back to this in a second because I got more to say about it. But James is like setting up his DJ equipment, and Lala's at the hostess stand, like refusing.
We got that merch alert. We got that merch table they're showing up there. I love that Sir merch. Give me some 2015 Sir merch. Right
mean, let me hold on while I head to eBay really quick. Hold on. So Lala is real good at the boys. Like, she is so good at it. Like, that could be her part-time job. Because he walks up and she's like, "Hey, mister." And I'm like, okay, Lala, yeah, that's some boss level game right there. Even just like that, because he immediately just falls in line. He does. He was like, "Oh, hello, darling," and he puts his hand on her, and like, she owns
weird.
every man in there.
The hand on her is very weird. That thing. I mean, when he's telling her she's pretty, but I think when she said that he's sexier as a DJ than a busser, the James anyone knew before that has ceased to be.
Yeah.
This is not a person who knows anything that's going on right now. Jax Taylor had more words for her at the beginning than James. I mean, his only move is like, "Can I touch your face?" Oh my God. Like, hasn't been shown a lot of just love. He gets some love from Kristen, but then gets some violence afterwards. This is just, well, you're sexier when you're doing this job than that other job you really don't like. That's curtains. And James is gone. He has ceased to be.
Continues to gas him up too. She's like, "Well, I just love everything that you play."
Yeah.
And she knows exactly what show. This woman is real smart. I really like Lala. I find her to be femme fatale that this show needed. But he asked her if she sings, and she says, "Of course. Of course." And she's like, "Oh, he, you make me blush." Nuh-uh. This woman has probably got like 60-year-olds on a yacht that's paying every single one of her bills and has bought her everything she has on. This skinny little punk is not doing nothing, but she understands how to like massage a dynamic, and she is absolutely doing it. I think she has clocked James for something he can give her, and she is on the case.
Yeah, I've been wanting some new blood, and I've gotten it this year, and this is why. This is exactly why I wanted it. Let's turn this thing on its head a little bit.
And so James continues to run for first place of the dirtbag contest, because in his confessional, he was like, "What? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do something about it. Like, what, I got to spell it out for you? Sir, this woman is going to hurt your feelings, and I am going to love every fucking second of it." Like, I am very excited to see Lala handle him very smoothly and quickly. But first, she's got to get whatever she needs.
I couldn't write that down. I was too busy vomiting. So, yeah. I came to when Schwartz was in a bathrobe, fortunately.
Yeah. Oh, God. So these men, listen, I know I like to like diagnose quite a bit, but these two Toms are so codependent on each other that both of them have significant others that are probably quite literally sitting in the other room, and they have to call each other to like pep talk them about what they're going to wear.
They're excited. No, lay off. I'm sorry. They're pumped. They're goofy. That's a big day. If you got a big day with your buddy when you're like 30 years old, this is a new career opportunity. This is a big thing. It deserves. I mean, these two are going to talk about what they wore for sure. I mean,
they're not even talking about what they're talking about. Like, "Hey, so I should go with the Lexus audition? Should I be like luxury casual?" It's so douchey, Jeff. And you know it's douchey as fuck.
I'm happy for them is all. We're going to wear business casual, all right? Deal with it.
Yeah. I'll be happy whenever they could keep it in their pants long enough to have a meeting, because who the fuck can take Schwartz seriously? He is such a fucking schmuck. Like, oh my God. Cut to them entering in Villa Rosa. This house is so crazy. Also, sir, I want the record to show that Swan was right by the door, guarding it.
I still say you would find a way to be comfortable at Villa Rosa. There's no way. That's not.
There would be no swans just walking around trying to attack.
They're just sitting around peeing out their butt. Don't worry about it.
As Schwartz tends to do when he comes around Lisa Vanderpump.
What did you make of their business casual attire? That's just an untucked shirt.
It was fine. I mean, Lisa's in jeans, so she knew she didn't give a fuck about this.
Lisa can wear whatever the hell she wants. No.
I know. But I could count on one hand how many times this woman has worn jeans. That just means she doesn't give a shit about this. She was like in between, organizing her purses and giving orders to Rosa. She fit them in. Like the whole time that they're talking, her face is just like, sure, okay, sure. And they look like such idiots. They underestimated this situation in such a way. Like I'm gonna let you talk about it because this is more your
All right.
purview. But they walked
I
in
have
there.
plenty.
Yeah, go.
No pen, no paper. I'm just sitting here down to talk to you. I've got notes. I've got a pen. I got glasses. Kind of ready to work. Maybe I'm not in business cash. These dudes
That's
have a
right.
legit business meeting with a person with a
Ready to
giant
work.
estate in the Hollywood Hills. She got swans and everything else out there, and you brought nothing. You didn't have one thing to like, man, that is a good idea. Maybe I should write that down. They they also want to get right into the Shay thing. That's what you're going to start your business meeting with. You have nothing to show there, and you want to get in on the hot goss right when you got there with your boss who was just upset you weren't even around enough. So you're like, I got a new venture. I'm going to need some money. And did you hear about our waitress's husband who hasn't been around? Here's why I think it's an issue. And he gets into the money thing again. Not what needs to happen right here. It's a bad idea. It's not the time.
Makes a wild suggestion that she give this man who has disappeared for a week, who is admittedly struggling with substance. Sure, let's give him a job at a bar.
Right. Nice gesture, I guess, that he can get a job, but if it goes well with Lisa and he goes to Scheana and Shay and it's like, yo, got you a job. You want to be slinging some drinks? Are they happy about that? Have they asked him to do this for them? And it's more of a thing on Tom, like, don't ask more than you need at this point. Like, you need to ask about this stuff. I like the concern for your buddy, but it's just not the time or place. And Handy and Jason come in. That's business casual. They look ready to go. They are ready to have a meeting. Right. You two clowns over there, like I don't even know what to describe your dress is.
Schwartz immediately has a boy crush on Jason. He is like, listen, he looks like a model of a business person.
Jason is this season's Jax's plastic surgeon. Like, I'm gonna give him like one man crush a year. That Jason is that this year. They talk about his head one too many times, I think. Let's not bring up the guy's head. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. But then we start going into the bits. We're gonna get into the sangria game, a little manufacturing. So I'm all in the beverage manufacturing. I'm all about it. Going from in-house to retail. This is something I have actually literally helped people do before. So I'm all about it.
And Schwartz has a background in wine and spirits. If we didn't know.
We're gonna.
I want to hear more about it. That's all he said.
I don't know if you guys knew about that. Dude, please don't do that. Like, I don't know if you guys knew that I had a background in wine and spirits, which she does bring up later, as a matter of fact. But yeah, they don't dislike the idea, which is great. Really their big comment is that they should be thinking more globally than, I know people in LA, I know people in the middle of the country. They're like, dude, we've been all over, jet setting all over the world. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing to hear. I want you to think bigger is a great thing to hear. Honestly, it's probably the best, like your idea, not only you not getting to know, we're telling you about how many stores we have in this country, where we were talking about national distribution here. And Schwartz is like, well, I did give us homework when I leave, and that sucks. Like, what did you think? Homework is what you want to get from it. If they're like, here's it, great idea. Here's $10 million. Take it and do whatever you want to with it.
That's what he said. He's like, we didn't leave there with a 6-figure salary. But also, too, did they not do one Google? They didn't ask one question. Nope. They walked in there thinking they were going to introduce this product to St. Louis when they're in Australia, Turkey, Rome, Miami. They looked so stupid. Like, they walked in there with this bravado thinking they were about to do some favor for Lisa Vanderpump. And she has already been all over the world pimping this stuff. Like, they just look dumb.
But they're not all over the town. They're not all over the world for the sangria, though. They're doing the
Well,
rosé and the other stuff. What they're saying is what you're doing with the rosé, we need to do with the sangria.
But
Like that's a
Lisa
new
even
product.
says But Lisa even says that they wildly underestimated this particular brand. Like, she says that in one of her confessionals, and so I
Yeah.
just think that they should have scaled their pitch to match the scale of the brand a little, because they just looked silly. They look like they were going to their big brother's company trying to, like, "Hey, can you bring little brother to work?" It was so silly.
You know how we say sometimes, especially with Schwartz, when they blurt something out, you're like, oh God, reel that back into your mouth. Like, some comments are meant for a journal. Some things are meant for your diary. They know Jason and they know Pandy. I mean, even if they're not around a lot, that's where you go. You go to like, hey, can we talk to you on the side? Let's go get a cocktail. We're thinking about something for Vanderpump. The sangria, it could be huge. It could be the next rosé for you. What do you do? And then like start with just one guy on the side. I really don't think it's that bad. Like just because they weren't thinking globally, they were thinking, different regions in the US. Like, like when you're telling somebody your order at a restaurant and they're not writing it down, you're kind of like, don't you need to be writing this down? Like you're going to mess this up later. They're telling them about their global brand scale. And they're like, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
They're not
sure.
even they're not writing, not like, hey, let me get my phone out. I'll record. I'll at least take notes on there. Like, sure, bigger,
None
turkey.
of that.
Got it. Got it. I like turkey. Cool. Did y'all hear the shit about Shay? You want to talk about Shay some more? They could have done more.
But,
Absolutely. It's not a
well,
strikeout.
if we know anything about Lisa Vanderpump, she's gonna give a man a shot. So the fact that she did not just like shut it down immediately, kind of like she did with old Brit later, sort of leads me to believe that she is going to entertain this in some kind of way. She's going to give them some kind of job. They can be line leader of something, because
Yeah.
she did not just say unilaterally, no, get out of here, y'all are idiots. Like I would have said, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't need your dumbasses.
No, Sandoval's so good at like kind of a mood thing. Like for him to start off with the Shay thing, I think really did not do it.
Yeah.
I think Lisa got in a worse mood about it. They had to bring it up. And then like the last thing you want to do getting into this business meeting thing is like dig yourself out of a hole first thing,
Right.
and that's where he
Start
ended up
out with a
going,
no.
but I
Yeah.
like it.
You have
This
to
is
come
our
back from
word
a
of
no.
our word of the month is pivot. These two dudes are trying to pivot into something else. And,
That's right.
it goes
Yeah.
fine enough.
Yeah, and they have homework, and we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. But like Pandy and her wonky eye is just
There it
she could
is.
give a
I knew
shit
we
less
weren't
about
getting
these two.
past it.
Look though, she has less tolerance for their shenanigans than Lisa does. Hands down, she does.
Yeah, most Americans also do.
Fair enough.
I did get possibly my best piece of advice from Tom Schwartz out of the whole series in this, though. Like something
Say
I
more.
should aspire to do. Well, he said he was just trying to dress like a guy Lisa Vanderpump would do business with. And now, any morning, that's what I want to think of before I leave the house. Like, is this a guy Lisa Vanderpump would do business with? Then I shall go
I
forth. Otherwise, change
I
it up.
can't afford it. I can't afford to dress like somebody Lisa Vanderpump would want to.
Yeah, and buy a guy who can do business with Lisa Vanderpump. I meant mannequin at JCPenney with his shirt untucked, because that is what Tom Schwartz looked like.
Well, apparently that's what works for her. So, because she was just into it. She was into it. I mean, I did take a picture of her face because it was,
Yeah,
she was over it.
it was kind
But
of a stone face thing. Yeah, a bit of a transition
transitioning
here.
from that, I do want to, and I'll mark the timestamp in the show notes. This is where they have, I'm calling it the intervention. Really, it's just an audience for what should have been a private chat. So,
Yeah.
Trigger warning here. I did, and I will say this too, I did have some feelings when I was watching it. It kind of just like brought up some things. So if you have a hard time participating with texts that are about the disease of addiction or like family trauma as a result, then fast forward probably a while. I can't tell you how long we'll talk about it, but I'll put some timestamps in there about it. So we show up at Scheana's house to the museum of Shay and Scheana's wedding. all
Yeah.
of these beautiful, happy pictures on the wall. Scheana, and I love it. She looks so pretty when she's so fresh faced, too. I know she's probably just been, really emotional and stuff, but she's so pretty. She wears so much eye makeup sometimes that it's kind of hard to clock like what her face
Yeah.
looks like. But in these next few scenes, she's just really natural, looking so pretty. So she says more time apart is just not an option. They're married. They are just really going to have to get over it. So she's like, we got to have a talk.
Yeah, I didn't
So
know right before she said that. I didn't know exactly what we were there for, and I was like, I'm wondering what other people's reactions are to the decor. Like for a second, I want Sandoval to come in and be like, "Good Lord, Scheana, did your wedding throw up all over the place? What else going on here?" But quickly, that's not the mood. I know. So I'm just now.
nope,
I'm
nope, nope, nope.
now. I'm ready. Yes, of course. This is
So
not a
it's
thing
like,
I'm going to make light of. So
right. But I am going to comment on just the sheer weirdness, only because Ariana does as well. Because it's like, well, here
it's
we all
strange.
are.
Yeah.
And Scheana frames it as Shay is better in a group setting over one-on-one, which I can understand that, but this is not the very first serious conversation that they've had, right? Have they always had an audience for every serious conversation? And Shay comes in just so vulnerable and just so emotional. It
Yes.
seems like what we know about him being more of the introvert of the two, that this may not have been his choice. But when we see it play out, it kind of seems like it worked in his favor.
Overall, by the time you get to the end of it, Shay says himself he's happy that it happened like this. So, that's the main goal. If he's happy with it, then
Yeah.
that's what we're here for.
And so everyone gets up and they greet him. And, everyone's like, hey, we miss you so much. And it was very nice to see this group because there's so much infighting and so much nastiness that they can do. It was really nice for this brief moment to see them coalesce into a unit for a greater good. Notice who's absent.
Yes, he is not there. He is with Miss Lingerie.
That's right. That's
Did
right.
you mean Danny and Christina? Is that who you were talking about? They're not there?
No,
No,
sir.
that
No,
wasn't
sir.
it. I hope
No, go ahead.
this is all just so real. There's parts of it where I'm wondering if it's fabricated or forced or producer run kind of thing,
It doesn't feel that way to me.
Well, good. I hope it's not. I just have my backup about that kind of thing. I think I want to make sure that it's not, but they do talk about a history of it a little bit, but yeah, we get some big news as well.
Shay characterizes he was going through some personal stuff, and we realize that he has been at his parents' for a week, and he has been ignoring everyone. And Sandoval, and I don't want to criticize them because I know it comes from a place, but Sandoval comes in real hot with a lot of questions right off the bat. And do you feel like you were addicted? Did you feel withdrawal? Who's your plug? There's a lot of questions that I don't know if to what end it was the best tactic.
No, that's the line of questioning, and the way it sounds is the part that felt very producer fed, and these are some topics we want to bring up while we're filming, and then we can check those boxes and get on with the real. I mean, I think the situation's real. It's just the manner in which they're talking about it.
It may have been that. It may have been that Sandoval was coached to say, or he may have done a Google and said, hey, these are kinds of questions that you need to ask in this situation to get clarity. It could have been one of those, but it did feel a little too organized for it to be this organic chat that Scheana framed as. I was framing it as an intervention. I do not believe that she framed it as such. And so when Sandoval's
absolutely not.
Right. And so when he's coming out with all these really hot questions, then I see what you're saying. It does feel a little inorganic. And I will say this too, and you may have some experiences. When Shay says that he was probably doing 5 to 10 pills, you can probably double that. Right. There is an inherent shame baked into addiction that the lies that folks tell about it is not necessarily to hurt, but is because he's embarrassed. He's ashamed of it. And so and then plus Sheena's tendency to kind of buffer it and to downplay it and to kind of make excuses of it. It is fairly obvious that whatever the real situation is happening, he is packaging it for Scheana so Scheana can package it either for herself or for everybody else. She
Yeah.
wants it to get wrapped up, to get it solved, to just get done with it and like be on the other side of it. And
Oh,
no matter what you're talking about, that is just wildly impractical. And especially for this kind of thing. And Schwartz is just sitting there with his fucking mouth hanging open, like, whoa, this is like a real addiction.
yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, it
The
was
grown-ups
real
are talking right now.
after school, especially in that right there. But yeah, I don't, the
Yes.
5, 10, 15, whatever he's taking, he's mixing it with stuff. He's in a bad way. Like the number, I don't know why they go back to that again. I'm not really concerned about it. I mean, I even Googled, is 5 Vicodin a day a lot? Before I even got to it the other day, like a helpline comes up. Like there's not even an answer.
Yeah.
It's like, this is where you are. So like, if it's 8 or 12, we're here. But we get
And
the questioning from him and the way Scheana goes about it. Like there is the good
God.
cathartic thing about it is that like Shay does say possibly like the realest thing we've ever seen on the show. They're talking about how miserable he's been for a week or so. He's like, I've been, miserable and lonely feeling for 2 years.
And
2 years.
Scheana takes that very personally. I don't think she's hearing it. Like she's coming to this situation through almost exclusively her experience. She cannot, and I'll say this is why I keep saying, I said this last week, like she needs some Al-Anon for real, because it is really hard to divorce your own experience and your disappointment and your pain and your betrayal from the thing that your loved one is doing. But you were talking earlier about how Sandoval was like counting his money. She does it here too. She was like, there were some months that he wasn't paying bills. He was buying pills. That is how I know that this situation is not made up, right? For them to say that out loud is just really, really exposing. Like they exposed him in a way that, I mean, I don't know if he agreed to have this, like if he knew what they were going to be saying out loud, but like that is just really, really vulnerable to say this about this person on TV for an audience this size.
Yeah, I bet he knew that there were people over there. And really, I mean, it ends up being more of a conversation about their relationship and how they are with each other than treatment for drugs and alcohol and your mental state right then. It's more about like him being more vocal, her listening more and stopping. So, but
because Scheana
it's a lot.
immediately makes it about her, right? She was like, well, I'm so sorry that you're so miserable and lonely. And why did you even marry me? Like, and everybody starts to sculpt her. And so you can see that Scheana is still working through her stuff, which is a really hard place to be in when you're still so angry about it to kind of try to help this person that, do you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of like put your own feelings aside in a way that is really hard to do when it's this fresh. This man hasn't been home in a week. She's not laid eyes on her husband in a week. And then she's supposed to like have this diplomatic, loving conversation about it. That just seems really unreasonable.
Yeah, that's exactly how she seems to feel. And I mean, she's bringing up hate and wants to know all the whys right now. And that's, a lot of that's like, we can get to that. He's coming home. That's important. Your guys' relationship stuff needs to change up. And
the editing here gets a little strange because there's that really emotional moment when Scheana's like, well, why don't you even marry me? And she's obviously crying. And then the next time when they cut to her, when he talks about how intimidated he is by her, she's like dry-eyed. So I am a little skeptical about how production like sold us this particular story and the way that it went down, because I could tell that it was edited a little bit strangely. But the situation pivots from his particular experiences with the substance into their dynamic, in which he can't get a word in edgewise. He's intimidated by her. She cuts him off and she takes over. And Katie, bless her heart, interjects. She was like, hey, man, you need to hear this. You need to take what he's saying to heart, whether she does or not, because the next sentence out of her mouth was like, well, I can't believe that you fucking hate me. So she didn't, right? Like, that's just not, she's not really listening, which she's not in a place to do so too right here. But The conversation shifts from like what I was calling an intervention to couples counseling. And Ariana sort of very, very Pollyanna is like, well, if Scheana can just listen more and Shay can just speak up more, they can be happy. Okay. He said, I hate to make fun of this man, but he says that he hates seeing her cry and he apologizes for leaving her to defend for herself.
Yeah.
That's not the phrase, Shay. Not
It's
the
close.
phrase.
It's very close.
It is. It's very close. And he declares he's staying, even though he doesn't have a bag. Put a pin in that. I think that's going to be a bit of a tell sign. And then she's like, yes, I will definitely do better to not ramble on and cut you off. And meanwhile, he's like trying to interject. And she's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to listen more. And like everybody's like, ha ha ha, you're doing it right now, girl.
Like right
Calm
now,
down.
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I think this is a very much a to be continued because the conversation later that happens with Lisa is really, really unsettling too. All right. We'll wrap that up. We're going to go to Mrs. Lingerie at Pump really quick. So many mistakes were made in this 4-minute sequence of this scene. She rocks up in her underwear again with Jax in tow
again.
And resume, I don't know her. And
again.
Hey, where did you work? Yeah, Brittany, where'd you work?
It's a Hooters. Yeah,
it's Hooters. And nothing against Hooters. They are hard workers. They are a very high volume restaurant. She probably does have a lot of experience in that. But this is this is an instance where you need to know your audience. Like read the room.
I get that though, but there's a way, to frame that and it's just fine and you move on down the line, the conversation. I think when they were doing like the Pump applications, there was a girl that used to work at Hooters. Like, it's not like it's that nasty or something that goes along with it. She can say like, I worked at Hooters for this long. Like the fact that she pauses, waits, Jax is looking around and then she blurts out Hooters. Like that's just not the way to go about it. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like if you've been at a Hooters for a while, like you probably know how to work some shit, like you can probably handle the computer system at SIR, no problem.
And then Lisa asks her if the uniform at Hooters has more on than she has currently. And she was like, yes. ma'am, what are you
Now
doing?
that's a different one. That's a different one right there.
Like this girl, and I don't know. Did nobody sit her down in her like 11th grade home economics situation and be like, hey girl, you need to present this way in a job interview. You need to bring this, this, and this, and don't bring your greasy fucking boyfriend. Like,
no, they didn't tell her that. Do you want to know why? She was working at Hooters already. So Jax is not letting up, not having any of this. Like she can work at another place. But Lisa's the whole thing about like, oh, she didn't bring the resume. That's not a bad thing. That makes it easy for me. Cut and dry. Didn't bring the resume. Can't do the hiring right now. This hit like very close to me. Is like when you've run a place, especially in restaurants, and somebody is just like slightly messing up here and there. Like they didn't come in, it's like, you're always like, there's somebody you need to get rid of, and they just completely mess up. In other words, do anything that Jax Taylor has done on this show. And you're like, that's it. You're out of here. Thanks for coming by. What a blessing. Sorry. That sucks. You didn't come in at a certain time, but you know what? There you go. You're out the door. Like she didn't want to hire her. She presented something to her that definitely gets in the way. So she just took that. Yeah.
And I don't think this is the case with Brittany too, but I'm always so kind of annoyed when people perceive that you can go work as a waitress or a bartender and a hostess in a restaurant because that's the easy money of it all. It's not easy money. It is fast money and it is good money, but it is not easy money. And so Brittany just rocking up thinking like she was going to translate whatever experience that she already had into this particular experience was a little naive. And I am 100% going to blame Jax. Like
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
I believe this is his fault. I think that he framed it very differently to her than he did to Lisa, to do whatever. And it's his fault. Everything's his fault.
That's actually, we have there is no reason for her to just, I mean, it's his fault that she's in the interview. I'm going to say it's his fault she didn't have the resume. I mean, it's his boss that
Yeah.
told her to make sure she brings her resume. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
great. All Jax's fault. Let's hear it for that boy for sure.
So then we pop back to Scheana's. This whole thing was I was like, are we in the goddamn Twilight Zone? First and foremost, they're drinking Capri Suns. At this big grown age of 30 years old, they are drinking Capri Suns. And not even because it's a child's drink or whatever, but it has 3 sips. I am too thirsty for a Capri
That's exactly
Sun.
right.
Okay? Get a glass, right? Like, it is wild. But also, too, the vibe is so strange. Did we not just have this very, very heady, serious interaction 2 scenes ago, and then you're bebopping around talking about you can't wait to have a real dining room table?
Talking
What?
about it is one way to describe what she's doing. Berating him and just going on and on about the one thing, and like it just confirming all the things we've been running about for years. Like, what is it like for him at home? Like, to hear Scheana go on, what was it like when she was about to get married at home? Like, that glimpse, like, and we could get that dining table, and we could get that, and we could do this. That's what he's hearing, 15 hours a day.
I think I may have a little bit different of I saw this scene a little different because I read it as Scheana is really trying to perform normal, nothing's wrong. She questioned him something about, and like the way she approaches it is not great because whenever she's asking about, like, he wanted to be with his family and he needed to be with a safe place, and she's like, well, that should be me. That is not the right way. But his
No.
tone immediately changes. And just like you sort of played out how it was at home with Scheana in those days, I played it out at home and it was with him. Because you can see his tone changes and her demeanor changes. She's sitting there thinking, like, I can't say one more thing because he will walk out the door, and I don't want to trigger him, and I don't want to send him off on a bender, and I don't want this. So you can just see her, like, the camera pans to her and her eyes are like blink,
Yeah.
blink, blink. And she's like, well, I'm trying to be better at that. And it's just a very pained interaction on both of their parts because he has a lot of pent up resentment to her, and she has a lot of pent up fear and pain about what happened. And they're trying to be like, oh, everything's fine now. Let's just move it along. Let's just keep it moving. And that
and I mean,
notoriously is bad form.
she's got some weird angles definitely on here. I mean, he's talking no drinking. It sounds like she's reinforcing, like, you can have some, like, newsflash, not everybody has a happy medium. Like, I knew people who were like, I don't know why you can't just have a drink, 2 drinks, have a sip here and there. And then she,
This was a real
in the
tough thing.
confessional, kind of puts it out there that she can't be with a sober person. I mean, sober from out, like, that doesn't fit in with her lifestyle. That's a long ago conversation, I feel like. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's
a
quite
really
a statement.
bad take.
Like, you
Yeah.
can't be with someone because they don't drink alcohol. That's a big one.
And think about what that means for a person.
And I'm not laughing because
who-
it's funny. I mean, that's kind of that's
it's
all I have
wild.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right. And like, think about this person as Shay trying to determine, which we all know that you can't just willpower your way out of addiction. That's just not a way
No.
to do it, right? Like, and so he's hearing this from his wife saying, you don't have to drink to get drunk. You can just sip and you can just like get a good buzz. First off, those 2 things mean the same thing. Having a buzz and being drunk are the same thing, Scheana. And the helplessness that he must feel in that moment where he's like, well, God, she's asking me to do something that he just doesn't have the chemistry to do. It must be very, very fear-inducing on his part because if he says, okay, I'm sober, okay, she's like, no, I can't. Okay, well, if I just fall all the way into my disease, okay, well, that's terrible too. There's just no winning in this situation. And it is a very bad situation. And I do not believe, I'm kind of with Jax, like, I do not believe that they have a shelf life that is, there's just no way. Especially when we see this conversation between her and Lisa. This is after she pops the drug test on him, which weed's okay. She'll let him slide on weed.
Yeah. Well, worse off
But
still, she grabs his Capri Sun. As you mentioned, there's 3 adult sips in one of those. He gets up for a second. She grabs his Capri Sun. He is freshly sober. Do you know how important sugar is to a freshly sober person? It is like the number one thing. Like love, comfort, sugar is about the order
yeah.
you've got to go up there. And I mean, in pills and booze, he's definitely looking to replace it with something. Don't steal that Capri Sun. Give him his treat, please.
Well, Jeff, you said it. There's only 3 adult sips. Like, she was like thirsty. That's not enough to quench a grown adult's thirst. You need to have 7 Capri Suns sitting in front of you just to make it through a meal, and forget it if it's a little salty. God,
that's the last straw.
Yeah, that's it, so to speak. So she goes to meet Lisa, and I guess it's like a check back, right? Like it's, hey, how are you doing? And this, I may be wrong about this, but the way Lisa talks about it, I believe that Lisa has a sibling that has grappled with addiction. I believe that to be true. That might be wrong. I may be mixing up my housewives in this way.
Well, even if she doesn't have a sibling that is going through it, I think he has some issues for sure. But she's been in the restaurant industry for decades.
Right.
She's been on the Real Housewives show. She's a grown person in the world. So she's seen a bunch of it. So, I mean, she's definitely coming. They are coming from, this is the most like opposed we've ever seen the two of them, I think, on this.
Right.
And I mean,
and it is so painful to watch how naive Scheana is. And I don't think it's malicious. I don't think it's coming from a place of just like, oh my God, just get over it. I think she just can't get on board with the idea that something is just so like molecularly broken about their situation, because she flat out says he doesn't need to go to rehab.
Yeah.
Ma'am, how do you think people overcome addiction? You know, like if they're not in a program, if they're not following some kind of like something, like you can't just white knuckle your way through it. Like this is, I'm not minimizing, but I'm just sort of like say, I did a cleanse one time where I gave up sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, and obviously not in any way connecting it to, but me trying to just white knuckle my way through giving up caffeine. I mean, I was like, no, thank you. I had to call out of work one day because I had such a headache. Imagine that times 100, which I don't got to tell you to imagine, but I'm just saying, like, she's so naive that she thinks that she's just going to like love him through it. Like, that's just wild. I made it 5 days. Just let the record show. I made it 5 days with no sugar, no alcohol, and no caffeine. 5 days.
Not all heroes wear capes, everybody. Did you want to use your applause sound effect over there?
I mean, I feel like I need a, hold on, here we go. I feel like I need a high five.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Lisa,
but I'm just
it's coming from wild. Like,
naive.
and why no rehab? Like, I do know people who like don't believe in rehab. It's always very weird to me. And like, especially if the person wants it, let's give that a shot. Why not? Like, you tried not doing it and it did not work well and he left the house. So maybe you should try it this time if you don't want him to leave the house. And Lisa's very on board with being unsure about the testing at home. Like, that's like, do you know where else they'll test him? Rehab. So there you go. You're doing the thing. Anyway.
And also, the longevity of his return is in question too, because if he doesn't have any help to quit any kind of like the opiates and the alcohol, and she is testing him, I mean, the next natural step is for him to disappear again, because he's got to fulfill whatever it is. And so it is just looking so bleak for Scheana. And I hate that for her, because almost her entire identity in the last 2 seasons has been a wife and a married lady and Scheana Shay. Like, it's almost like she traded in being a pop star for being a wife. And now that has sort of become not great. And so she's out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool, because she has been bragging all around about how happy they are. She was talking about their rings. Sandoval talks about how she was thinking about baby names that go good with Shay. Like, yike. A yike.
That's a big yike. Yeah. Anyway, that's why it's time to roll up the rug and clean up the cobwebs, Sundi.
Fair.
I like those phrases being put together there.
Yeah, so because cobwebs typically accrue underneath a rug, right?
Under the rug. Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like next week we're going to get a little bit less of them and more of the Trinity because James ends it with Kristen, ostensibly. And then immediately James and Lala have a last night.
Mm-hmm.
Jax tattles to LVP about the fraternization.
Yeah.
Kristen tattles to James, to Lala about him calling her a slut. James wins the dirtbag contest again. He's the crown prince universe champion.
Mm.
Scheana remains optimistic. And Jax is not. Surprise, surprise there.
No, his shitty way of bringing it. Don't you have a rule where you can't do that? Leave the premises, please.
Your whiny Jax impression is getting better by the second. Like it's real bomb. I love it so much. This season is shaping up to be juicy. It is my favorite so far. I love it so much. This is my favorite.
Looks like we're back to a little more kindergarten-y stuff next week, but this is good. I mean, it's been great.
Well,
so this
was a heavy one. This is a heavy one. And like, don't get me wrong. I am rooting for the Shays. I do not believe it's going to turn out the way she wants it, but I'm rooting for it.
No. She also may not really know what she wants, and she maybe just wanted a big wedding.
Well, check. Do you got any because the pasts?
One.
Okay.
Verbal hashtagging. So like when Scheana was talking about the tables and she says hashtag goals, that I feel like 2015, was that even still a thing?
I mean, I don't know. We saw Instagram
it can still be a thing. You can still say it, but it used to be. It had a moment for sure.
We saw Instagram kind of come to its height in that Stassi, like season 2 or whatever what Stassi said, but maybe it was still working around. Mine comes from that same scene whenever Shay says he's going to drain the lizard.
That was, I swear, both times I was like, what was that? Did he say drain the lizard? Who says?
He did.
Like, did you have your Big Johnson t-shirt on when you did that also?
I also wrote down Katie's dumb fucking headband too. It was so stupid.
No comment.
Because fine. And then don't poo in your own backyard was my Lisa-ism of the week here. Because it's like, don't poo where you eat. You have to poo in your own backyard. Like that's where you poo. Like when you send your dog's not going to go poo in your neighbor's backyard. Like you poo in your own backyard.
Well, that's why it's time to roll up the rug and clean up the cobwebs under there, Sundi. That was mine.
That's right.
That's mine.
Okay.
How about a chump?
I am just missing the whole intervention stuff, and I'm going straight to Brittany. I love you, Kentucky Muffin, but I have many reasons. I have a list of reasons why you're the chump. Number 1.
Oh, we're getting into it.
Leaving Kentucky for this walking STD. You are going to pack up your life in this green, beautiful land of the South to come up here and lay down with the sentient gonorrhea. No, wrong.
If only I had a mirror over here right now.
Number 2, wearing underwear, not once, but twice to an interview. Girl, put some pants on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, not having a resume. You know what you need. You could have gotten Jax to pop to the Kinko's around the corner and print you one off. Even if he told you not to, you're smarter than him. Do your best.
Uh-huh.
Number 4, letting that sweaty meatball sit in on that meeting. It could have gone so different if he wasn't there. Correct?
Correct. That's why you're making mine so easy. Mine is Jax.
Okay.
For all those reasons, and bringing up anal to the new girl real quick. So those two things alone.
God. I mean,
that was this episode. That was this episode that happened.
It's just like, hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Do you like anal? That is the wildest take I've ever seen in my life. Like,
are you hanging out at Porky's? Where do you talk to people like this? My LVP.
Wait, kids, ask your parents about Porky's.
Kim Cattrall, the early years. Anyway.
Oh, yes. Anyway,
it's
LVP.
Mike Shay.
Oh, yes.
Full
he
name.
was on the list. Yeah.
Full name for, I mean, that's a big move. like seeing there's a problem, standing up, doing something about it, facing everybody when you come back. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. That's a busy week right there. So give that
Standing up
man
to
a
Scheana.
12-pack of Capri Suns. LVP of the week, Mike Shay. Way to go.
Apparently he needs more than the 12-pack of his position. Mine, you made mine very easy.
Okay.
Mine was Lisa, because she was sort of the only one kind of clocking the situation with a realistic idea. Like, girl, this is not what's happening. This is not it. You need to like dial in. Don't let this get out of control, blah, 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 like this. And then she also told, Jax to not give his little Jax to Lala. And I just appreciated her. I know that we've sort of decided that she couldn't be the LVP, but in this instance, I think she was the only voice of reason and the only one that was really zooming out to see the situation as a whole. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And she gave a little tease to somebody if they can have their side hustle with her. So that's nice. Threw them a little bone. Yeah. No, that's great.
See.
Yeah.
We'll see. And
another one I could have easily just watched the next couple episodes had I not needed to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm riveted. I'm riveted.
Yeah.
But so make sure if you haven't already, folks, when you stop listening to this, go and listen to our Top Chef coverage. We are on fire over there. Jeff he is wielding his expertise all over the place. And be on the lookout for our cook challenge this week too. His instructions were wine flight, because yes, please, and some sort of like version of Southern cooking, which was the fried green tomatoes. So he's going to feed me that, and it's not going to be weird. I'm not going to be scared to eat it this time, even though both times that I was scared to eat it turned out to be delicious. So joke's on me. Ladies of London.
Green tomatoes.
Yeah. That's so smart. You're so smart. Ladies of London, book recommendations, and I have my own rec this week too. And of course, always Vintage VPR. Find us on wherever you get your podcast. Make sure that you leave us a review too. That really kind of like, gasses us up. If you have complaints, send them to Jeff. If you love us and want to tell me you love me, send them to me. And just find us on socials at Take a Pinot Pod.
You can email me that stuff also, Jeff at Pinot Pod, because I want to get more email than Sundi. So you'll email me something. That's Jeff at Pinot Pod.
To him.